Last week, we spoke about the story of Yosef, building on Chanukah, and we got up to the point where Yosef found himself in the beginning of the story when Yosef found himself in Egypt, and he went to jail, and he's sitting over there, and eventually he gets to the point where he interprets a dream for Paro about the 7 years of abundance and the 7 years of famine. And he tells Paro, he gives him advice, says to him, listen, and you should appoint someone, a viceroy, take in charge, that during the 7 years of abundance, everyone should save, make a reserve of food for the 7 years of famine. So Paro said, who's better for the job than you? And he makes him the viceroy. Now, of course, Yosef takes the position, and he starts to save. And during the 7 years of abundance, Yosef is going around, saving food, taking from here, taking from there, for everywhere he possibly can to make a gigantic reserve for the 7 years of famine. Lo and behold, the 7 brief years of abundance pass by, and you should know, the commentary says that the abundance was so great during the 7 years of abundance that there was no jealousy in the world. That's why if you look in Paro's dream, it says 7 beautiful, robust cows. What's it beautiful? Who cares if they're beautiful? When's the last time you saw a cow, you walking down the street and said, wow, that cow, oh man, what's going on? When's the last time you saw a cow and said, oh, such a beautiful cow, and there's such a beautiful cow in my life? Who says such a thing? Yeah, you've thought about it? Why beautiful? It says beautiful, the commentary tells us, you know why beautiful? Because it was such a beautiful time that everyone who had abundance, and because everyone had abundance, there was no jealousy. No one was jealous of one another. You know why? Everyone had a Bugatti. Nobody was jealous of each other. So everyone felt, I feel good. That was a beautiful time. Then the 7 brief years pass, and what hits? The hardest famine that ever hit the land. Now what happens? I'm making it short, of course. We're making an introduction over here. What happens? The people come to Paro. We're starving. What do? Go to Yosef. Yosef made a reserve, and they come to Yosef. They come knocking on his door. We need food. Okay, give me your money. And in this week's Parasha, we learn how, in Vayigash, we learn how they paid. First, they paid with their money. Then when they ran out of money, after the first year, they had no more money to pay for food anymore. So what do? We have no money. What do we need? We got to give our animal and our crops. So they gave the animal and the crops. After 1 year, no more animal and crops. So they came to Yosef and said, listen, we need to eat. He said, what do you have to give? Our land. So they give their land. After that, no more land. What are you going to give? Give yourself. And they sold themselves to Yosef. And what they would do is they would work the land that Paro owned, and from it 20% would go to Paro. So ultimately, Yosef got Paro in Egypt to be a superpower in the world. Where they were sholet, they were control of almost everything in the whole entire world. Because of this. Now eventually, the brothers who were in Eretz Yisrael at the time, they weren't in Egypt. The hunger hits them too. About 2 years in. Where they start running out of food as well. So Yaakov tells his sons, listen, I heard there's an abundance of food up in Egypt. Why don't you guys go, take some money? Yaakov, Baruch Hashem, had a lot of money. Says, take some money, take some gold, go. And get some food. So they go up to Egypt. And the Midrash tells that Yaakov told them, you guys are all, Baruch Hashem, beautiful guys. Diesel. You cannot walk in from one gate. Everyone's going to see you, going to say, whoa, America's Next Top Models just walked in over here. Said, okay, what you're going to do is you guys are going to split up. And you guys are going to come in through 10 separate gates. So every one of them came through a different gate. That way you guys are going to blend in, put on your hoodie. But not when the cops are around. But put on your hoodie and walk around. It's not funny, Tal. Okay? Come in. So no one's going to see you. Blend in. So they come in, they creep in. No one really notices them. They finally get to Yosef. And Yosef notices them. He says, these are my brothers. But they don't notice Yosef. Says Rashi, why didn't his brothers notice him? They lived with him 17 years. Why didn't they know? He grew out a beard, says Rashi. So everyone wanted to know how you change your identity. Grow out a beard. Who needs plastic surgery? Today, all you got to do is grow out a beard. I see what you're doing over there. You grow out a beard, that's it. And everyone else going to notice you anymore. Right? 10 brothers. Not one of them noticed Yosef? Whatever. Of course, there's mystical things going on over here. Because, long story short, Yosef looked like his father. And Yaakov had a beard. So if they were twins, if they looked very similar, they could notice. But through divine intervention, God made it that they weren't able to see. Because what ensued next was supposed to happen. Now Yosef sees his brothers. He says, okay, this is an opportunity. So he noticed that they all walked into separate gates. So what did he tell them? You guys came in. You guys came to spy on the land. You guys are spies. You guys came to see what's going on over here to steal our food. I see you guys all came into separate gates. You guys came to see what's going on over here to check all the gates. How many people? He said, no, of course not. God forbid. We never such a thing. We came in. We're humble people. We're modest people. He says, I don't believe you. You guys are liars. You guys are spies. They say, no, we're not. Okay, prove it to me. Tell me about yourselves. We're 12 brothers. We have a father who lives back in Eretz Yisrael, who lives in Canaan over there, and we're herdsmen. We have 10 of us who are here. One of our brothers, Binyamin, our youngest brother, is at home, and his older brother Yosef, who came from one woman, the beloved wife of my father, He's gone. We don't know where he is. We don't know. They don't know he's talking. They don't know they're talking to Yosef. He's gone and we don't know where he is. She said, okay, prove to me that you guys aren't spies. Go back down to your father and bring down Binyamin. Bring your youngest brother with you. I said, no, we can't. Our father's in an old age. He lost his beloved wife and her first son. This is the only thing he has left of them. I cannot bring him down. If you want to come over here and eat food, you want to live, you cannot come back up to see me unless you're going to bring your youngest brother. That's the only way I know you're not spies. So they go back. They tell Yaakov, say, listen, Abba, we got to take Binyamin. What does he say? He says, no way. No way. It's not happening. It's the only remnant I have of your mother, of Rachel, is him. Yosef was taken from me. Rachel died while giving birth to Binyamin. It's the only thing I have left. It's the only inkling. You take him from me, I'll die. Cannot take him from me. Comes Reuven, his oldest son, and says to him, Abba, I promise you I'll take care of him. But Reuven, he already lost his trust with his father. Because what he did when he switched the beds. We see that later on, the commentary says after Rachel passed away, one time Reuven took the bed of Bilhah and he switched it with his mother Leah. And after that, Yosef said, Yaakov lost trust in him. So when he came in, he told him, I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to make sure I have my word. I'm going to bring back Binyamin. He didn't trust. They went on for a month until they got to the point where they were starving to almost to death. And they came to the father and said, what are we going to do? We have to do something. We have to go. He says, no, I cannot let him go. He says, listen, Abba, one way or another, we're going to die. Either we're going to die of hunger or we're going to go and take him. Comes Yudah, the brother who Mesamen Malkut, who was the symbol of kingship. He was the king of the brothers. He was like the leader of the brothers. And he comes and tells his father, Abba, you have my word. On my life, Al-Chayai, in this world and in the next. In this world, you have my word, and in the next world. Meaning to say that if I don't bring back Binyamin, I'll die in this world, I'll die in the next. I won't have an afterlife. When his father hears these powerful words, he says, okay, I trust you, take him. They take Binyamin up. Yosef sees them coming. He tells Menashe, his son, and Ephraim, go prepare a beautiful meal. They go do shechita on a cow. They come, they do a full brisket in the back with the smoker, with the Traeger. They brought the wood pellets. They were doing a crazy smoke over there. All Mitzrayim was like, wow, crazy meat. Ribs, the whole 9 yards. They had a crazy meal for them. They come, hi, how you doing? They came to sit down together. They sit down, they eat together. And Yosef tells his son Menashe, go to their bags, stuff their bags with money. And the youngest son, Binyamin, take my silver goblet and put it all the way in the bottom of the bag and put everything on top. Now when they departed, Yosef tells them, listen, we put gifts in your bag, we put everything in your bag. Go to your father, you have food, you have everything, and live a nice life. And they go off on their way, and they're happy, they're elated. They finally get to go back to Abba, Binyamin is with them. They feel, wow, we really did it. We got the food ready to go. They don't get about half a mile away when Menashe and the whole couple of troops come and stop them over. So where do you think you guys are going? So what happened? One of you stole the silver goblet. That's how you appreciate what our king did for you, what Yosef did for you. He gives you good, you treat him with bad, you steal from him? He says, we didn't steal anything, what are you talking about? So you stole a silver goblet. We didn't steal nothing. One by one, they look into their brothers' bags. Checking one, dumping it out, nothing. Another one, until they get to Binyamin. They dump out the bag, in the bottom of the bag, they found a silver goblet. They carry back all the brothers. Their brothers, of course, are right now trembling because Binyamin is the one they found the goblet with. Comes Yehuda and says, this must be our punishment from Hashem, all of us. This must be for when we sold Yosef. This is how we're getting paid back from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he comes to Yosef and says, listen, you're right, you found the stolen object. Take us all as slaves. Yosef says, I'm a just king. I'm not going to take all of you. I only want Binyamin. When Yehuda heard only Binyamin, he realized it wasn't from Hashem. Because it doesn't make sense for 10 of them to go free when Binyamin wasn't even involved in selling of his brother. He says, we're the ones supposed to be punished. He said, this must not be from God. And that's when the party started. That's when Yehuda started getting crazy. That's when he started really going. And that was one of his nephews, Kushin, his name was. He heard all the way from Israel that Yehuda was getting crazy, riling up, that the anger, he was like a beast. So when he got angry, the whole Egypt was shaking from his anger. He was screaming and yelling, and the whole land was shaking. When his nephew heard, he came running to Egypt, and Hashem did it, that the land folded over each other, and he got there within a minute. He got over there, and he also was standing by his side. Now you see 10 brothers, Giborim, strong like you can't even imagine. They could take out all of Mitzrayim. Yosef tells his brother, go scout out the land. He said, how many regions are there? He says, there's 10 regions. He says, I'll take 3, you guys take the rest. He says, okay. He was ready to kill them all. And he's speaking to them in Hebrew, right? Now Yosef, what did he do? He didn't want his brothers to know that he's Yosef. So he told his youngest son, you're going to be my interpreter. You're going to speak for me. So Yosef only spoke in Egyptian. Menashe would translate to Hebrew, and the brother would speak in Hebrew. This is, by the way, the number one way you can always find out someone's talking bad about you. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, no, I don't speak Hebrew. I don't speak any Hebrew. All of a sudden, the guy, your dad telling him, שהוא מסתובב, תוציא את הסכין. Yosef's like, I hear everything. I hear everything. Right? Now, your dad's getting crazy. And now he goes to pull out his sword from his sheath. And it's stuck. It won't come out. At that moment, your dad realized he's not playing with someone simple. Now they're going back and forth. They're showing the power. Yosef sees that your dad's getting crazy. He knows that if he's not going to counter, it's going to be mavet to all. Everyone's going to die in Egypt. So what does he do? He takes his foot, he kicks the pillar of the building, and all shatters to show him, you're not playing with a simple man. And Menashe, Yosef's son also was very powerful. They realize they're not playing with simple people. They start a conversation between them. Yudah realizes that nothing's going to happen with power. You have to talk. And he starts telling him, you're a wicked man like Paro. Yudah's telling Yosef, you're a wicked man. You don't want to do just. You don't want to do good upon us. You came over here, I told you my father was an old man who had a weak heart. And this is his only son, his only remnant of his wife, his beloved wife, and you want to take him away? You don't consider my father? And what did Yosef now? At this moment, the anger got riled up in Yosef. He says to him, and what about you? You didn't consider your father when you sold your brother? All the pain that it would cause him 22 years? 22 years, you didn't think about that? And at that moment, Yehuda was already seeing red. The commentary says that blood was coming out of his eyes from anger. Yosef said, at this point, he cannot go any longer because if he's going to continue, then he's 1 second away from exploding, and then there's really going to be an all-out war. Yosef tells everybody, leave the room. Get out. And he leaves himself in the room, just Yosef and the brothers. And he looks at them and says, you guys are foolish. You guys think your brother Yosef is dead. What if I told you he was alive? You sold him to Egypt, but he's here with me. And he starts to call out, Yosef ben Yaakov. And the brothers are pale white, in shock. They don't know what's going on. They're like, shocked. Yosef ben Yaakov. 2 times he screams out. They're looking around. They're waiting for somebody to come out. The anticipation. He says, what are you guys looking around? I'm Yosef. Is my father still alive? And at that moment, the embarrassment that fell over the brothers as they were looking at there, and Yosef's face, and the misdeed that they did when they sold him, how they felt at that moment. They felt embarrassment that you can't even imagine. Says Chazal that this is domain, this is similar to every single person in the world. This exact moment, after 120, when a person lives 120 years, he's going to go up to Shamayim, he's going to sit over there and he's going to see the Shekhinah, he's going to see Hashem, and they say, wow, this is Hashem? This is Hashem, this is the greatness of Hashem? Why didn't I do more? Why didn't I do more for you, Hashem? Says Chazal, you know what the biggest suffering in the whole entire world is? When you get up to Shamayim, it's a story I heard from Rabbi Elon Nava. A guy who went to go fly. He goes to go fly in a plane. But he never flew in a plane. Guy from Israel, 18-year-old kid. I never flew, but he was excited to go to, I don't know, Aruba, Dubai, wherever it is. Gets in the flight. Sitting next to him, another guy. He's sitting down. As soon as the plane, clearing off for landing, you see the guy's already shaking in his boots, sitting over there. The guy next to him, relax, relax, what's going on? I've did this 100 times. You're okay. He cannot contain himself. After they get up, they're going up. He's sitting over there. He can't even get over it. Finally, they get to the point where they say, take off your seatbelt. He gets up. He says, don't worry, go walk around, breathe a little bit. He starts walking around. He gets to the stairs. He walks up to he sees stairs over there. He walks upstairs. He sees, oh, by there's a beautiful lounge over here. This is a nice, comfortable chair. He sits down. He says, wow, I'm living the life over here. What am I sitting down there, smushed in between me and this other guy? He says, I should be up here. Sits down. The woman comes, the stewardess. We like something to drink. He says, I didn't bring, yeah. She said, complimentary. Don't worry, complimentary. She says, complimentary? Yeah, I'll take a champagne. I'll take a whiskey vodka. I'll take everything. Give me everything. You want something to eat? Bring the caviar. Bring everything. He's sitting down snacking. All of a sudden, the stewardess comes to him. Excuse me, sir, can I see a ticket? He pulls out his ticket, not knowing. Ticket. Sorry, sir, this is business class. You're in coach. Says, what? Says, how you want me to go back down there after experiencing this? I said, I'm sorry. He says, what is it? What? It's a difference in price. Your ticket costs $400. This ticket costs $2,000. He says, money, that's all. He pulls out his credit card. He says, charge me. I'm staying over here. He says, I'm sorry, sir. We don't do business in Shamayim. We don't do business in heaven. Says, when we get to the next world, the Hashem is going to show us what we could have been. If we would have lived up to our potential, if we would have did everything we possibly could have done, He would show us the level that we would have been at. And we're going to see it, and we're going to taste it, we're going to say, no, I want to stay here. I want to stay here. And what's Hashem going to tell you? It's going to cost you mitzvot. That's it? Let me go right now. Give charity. Let me go now. That's it. You can't. Only in this world, not over there. If you didn't prepare here, then you can't eat over there. The way you make the bed is the way you're going to sleep with it. And this is exactly what we see in this week's Parasha and last week also. Says Rashi relates that last week's Parasha, when the famine first started, the people came to Paro and said, we're hungry, we need to eat. He says, go to Yosef and speak to him. Rashi brings down a different dialect. They came to Paro and said, we're hungry. And Paro tells them, I don't understand. Why didn't you say food? Yosef's been telling you guys for 7 years it's going to be a famine. During the year of abundance, you didn't save. 7 years, you guys are living lavish. How much can you eat already? You have food, I'd die. How much can you eat? Put something aside. Put something aside. No? How much can you eat already? Put something aside. And what do they tell him? I tell him, we did, but it went rotten. Now I'm going to comment on this. After this, I'm going to go back on that. Paro tells them, okay, now that you did listen to Yosef, go ahead to him now and listen to him, unless we're all going to die. If you don't listen to his word now, when the famine started, then we're all going to die. And that's when they went and they sold all their possessions. On this point over here, that it went rotten, I said this story over last week on Shabbat and Sulash Shishit, and this point set out to me when I said the food went rotten. I didn't understand. This mashal, this example that I gave of Yosef is like us. The rabbis come to us in this world, every single one of us who's sitting over here and everyone outside, and I tell you, guess what, buddy? There's going to be Olam Haba. There's going to be a next world. After this world, there's going to be a next world. And this is the world to start saving. This is the world to start collecting the diamonds. Either you collect or you don't collect. But you live over here in abundance. We live over here in a world where a person is going to go and chase after money, honor, respect, whatever he can possibly find. Those are the things that are important to him. So he spends his whole life working like a dog to accumulate more money, and more money, and more money, and more honor, and more respect, and everything you possibly imagine. Come to the Shamayim, after 120 years, he has 120 million in the bank, 14 buildings in Manhattan, all the respect you could possibly imagine, a very nice name and everything like that, but nothing, no good deeds with Hashem, nothing. Come to the Shamayim and says, what did you prepare for the next world? You know what he tells him? I'm a multi-millionaire, I have 14 buildings, I have this. Hashem looks back at him and says, Chazaku Baruch, what did you do? All those things I gave you. That business deal you got into, who sent that guy to you? If you ever talk to somebody who became very wealthy, ask them how they started it. I had this idea. One guy came up to me. This guy came up to me. This guy told me like this. This guy pitched me an idea. Who brought you that? Came out of nowhere? Nowhere? I went to Florida and somehow I ended up in California. How did you even get to California? Somehow I ended up over there and I met a guy over there who got me. What do you think? These things happen with no divine intervention, just by luck? Hashem says, all these things I gave you, the money, the buildings, everything I gave you. What did you give to me that I didn't give you? Says the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, Akol min shamayim, chutz mi yarei shamayim. Everything's from Hashem except for fear of Hashem, acknowledgement of Hashem. What you did for Hashem. When you sat down, you came to Shiur on Thursday nights, when you guys could have went out to the club, or you guys could have went out to a party, you could have went to a bar, you could have been drinking. Right now, you're sitting down, Hashem is saying, you're collecting money now. Right now, you're collecting money. And it reminds me of a story that I heard from Rav Zemir Cohen. A beautiful story with a beautiful mishal. I said this over on Sulash Shishit. What a great story. A businessman in Manhattan. A very successful man, but works very hard. Finally, he gets a vacation. He says, I can't wait. He books a cruise, and he gets to a chartered island over there, and he can't wait. The day finally comes, he packs his bags, he gets ready to go, he gets everything packed up, he gets down from his apartment, he gets on the cruise ship, and he's sitting over there, he's anticipating the date he's going to get to the island. And they're going, and as they're approaching, the captain says, we're 30 minutes away from docking on the harbor. He comes running to the gate, sitting there holding the first one there to make sure to be the first one off. And as they get closer, he sees in the distance, he sees a bunch of people scattered on the shore of the water, on the ocean shore. He said, what's going on over here? Must be somebody chashuv, must be something very important on the ship. He says, okay, what do I care? Very nice for them, but I can't wait to go drink my pina colada. Let's go already, move the ship. They're finally bored. He sees a bunch of people over there. He gets off. He's the first one. As soon as he gets off, everybody jumps on him. Woo! They throw him up in the air. He says, wow, this is very nice. He's like, usually you go to the Bahamas, you go to Hawaii, they give you that Kutululu thing with the necklace, you know what I'm talking about, with the flowers. They give you a drink or whatever. But this is something else. They're picking you up, they're cheering, they're dancing. They start calling him my king, my king. He says, okay, whatever, I'll play along. Next thing you know, they start carrying him away to the palace. Now he's being carried to the palace. He sits down in the palace. They open up a table of a king. Everything you could possibly imagine to eat. He says, okay, I like this island. It's a very nice place. I'm going to call my travel agent and tell him he did a very good job. Next time, give him a nice tip. What is this place? A beautiful place. That night, they put him in the king's suite. the beautiful room with the silk sheets. He's sitting down, sleeping like a king. Wakes up in the morning, breakfast in bed. They pull him into the main cabin area, and they put him in the king's chair. They put a crown on him. They put the robe, sitting over there. Okay, now he's trying to get a little suspicious, but whatever, play along, I'm enjoying it. Then he sees the general from the army come in. Sir, we have a ship coming in from the West Bank. We don't know what to do. Should we go attack or not attack? We don't know if it's hostile or not. He's looking at them and says, Shumajnoon, I'm not your king. I don't know what you're talking about. No. You got the wrong guy. What? I thought this all was a joke. I don't know. Something. What? You didn't know what to say. What do you mean? You're our king. Everyone's insisting. You're our king. You're our king. He doesn't know what to do. Don't attack the ship. Luckily, the ship just passed by. He don't know what to do. Day passes by. He sees they're really treating him like a king. He doesn't know what to do. Am I king over here? I'm not a king over here. Now they're really treating him. A few weeks pass by. He gets very close with the chef over there. Just asking the chef, listen, let me ask you a question. What's going on over here? He says, I cannot tell you. If I tell you, they'll kill me and my whole family. Now he's starting to suspect something. So what does he do? He's a charming guy. So he knows every day he's coming to the chef. He's talking to him nicely. Finally, after about 3 months, he comes to the chef and tells him, listen, you got to tell me. I promise you I won't say nothing. Says the chef, I'll tell you, but promise you won't mention it to nobody. I won't mention it. Says, a few years ago, this island used to have a tyrant, used to have a leader who was greedy and took all the money for himself, and we all lived in poverty. And one day we got up and we revolted against him. We took him out, we killed him, and we said that every year on this date that you guys landed on the ship, we're going to pick a new king. We're going to put him for 1 year as a king. After that, we're going to tell him, waking up in the morning, tell him, okay, now it's your time to go. You have another island that you have to go do a business dealing. He wakes up in the morning, gets on the ship. We drop him off on the island and we run away. And we leave him there, and then we get another king. The guy sitting over there is in shock. He says, yo, what did I get myself into? He calls it, I'm going to call my travel agent. I'm going to call him a big trouble when I get back over there. If I get back over there, right? For a few days, he's sitting in bed. He's depressed, doesn't know what to do. What's going to be? Eventually, an idea comes into his mind. He calls all the advisors in the morning, and nobody knew he knew, right? So what does he say? Listen, I'm looking at the map over here. I see a little island charted off to the left over here. That's isolated, nothing over there. You know, I was thinking about, why don't we invest into it? It's very close. God forbid a volcano erupts, something over here, we'll have somewhere to relocate. Everyone says, wow, it's a great idea. Beautiful. No one even thought about it. Great. He says, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to build infrastructure over there. And we're going to put businesses. And we're going to build homes. And we're going to bring people. We're going to fly in people from over there. And then towards the end of the trip, he said, okay, now I want you to fly my family and my dog and everything. Now comes the day they come knocking on his door. I tell him, hey, you have a business trip today. He comes, he's smiling. He's ready to go. Didn't have to even wake him up that morning. He's ready to go. He knows where he's going. He gets to the island and everything is set. Say that's a person in this world. He's sitting over here in this world. He has 1 year. He has 120 years. He can sit over here and live like a king, but not prepare for what's going to be next. Or he can say, now that I know there's something next, I'm going to start preparing. And instead of chasing after money, honor, respect, all the other things, he starts chasing about things that's going to get him somewhere in the next one. Fix up his island. So he doesn't chase after money and all these other things. And it reminds me of a second story I heard. The story of the king and the 4 wives. Anyone ever heard this story? It's a beautiful story. There was a very, very wealthy king. And when he married a woman, and he loved her in the beginning. Then he married another wife, another wife, and another wife. 4 wives. And one of his wives, he loved the most out of everyone. He constantly pampered her. He put her in the nicest clothes, nicest cars. She was always around in the Range Rover with the Gucci shoes and the Gucci and the Chanel bag. Whatever you want, she had it. Pampered her, you can't even imagine. Gym, private trainers, whatever you want. His second wife, he loved her the second most. And her, she was very beautiful. So he took her out on the street to show everybody. Look at my wife, look how beautiful she is. Wanted to show her off. And everyone had to see. His third wife, he would go and spend time with her. He would spend some time with her, go out with her, hang out with her. And the 4th wife he neglected. His first original wife, that's it. She already went to the back seat and that's it. Forgot about her. Passes a few years. The king's not feeling good. Starts coughing. Say, we'll take you to the doctor. He gets to the doctor, tells him, listen, you only have a few days to live. We don't know how to tell you this, but you're not going to live very long. And he's shocked and he's afraid, he doesn't know what to do. He says, okay, but I cannot go through this alone. So he comes to his most beloved wife and he tells her, hey, will you come with me? Will you come with me on this journey? She says to him, no, and she runs out. He's devastated. This is the wife that I spent most of my life with. I gave her everything, all my money, everything I gave to her. But at least my second wife shall come with me. The one that I showed off, the one that I... Comes the second wife. He says, will you come with me? She looks at him, she says, not only I'm not coming with you, I'm getting remarried. And she runs out. The guy sitting over there doesn't know what to do. So hopefully my third wife, the one that I always will spend time with, maybe she'll come with me. Comes to his third wife, will you come with me? His third wife says, listen, up to the burial. I'll be with you up to the burial. I'll take care of all the everything to do with the burial, where the plot and the tombstone, everything I'll take care of. But up to there, I won't go any further. And she walks out. Then he hears a small little voice from the corner. And he says, I'll follow you wherever you go. And he looks and he sees a malnourished woman. Brittle, small, unfed, uncared for. And he thinks to himself, wow, how stupid am I? That all this time I invested into these three, I didn't invest anything to you, and you're the only one that would come with me. You're the only one that would sacrifice yourself for me. Says this is an example of everyone in his life. He has 4 wives. His first most beloved wife that he pampers with everything is his body. He puts in the nice clothes, he goes to the gym, he works out, he makes sure he looks good all the time, gels the hair, you know what I'm talking about? He comes with the joba, gets a tan, puts on the veneers. Whatever the body needs, he gives the body. The second one is money and respect. He wants to go and show everybody off the money. Look at my car, look at my respect. Look at all the things I have. Comes at the end of his life and says, maybe this woman will come with me. Says, no, not only am I not coming with you, all your money, possessions are going to go to somebody else. They're going to go to your kids, they're going to go to their husbands, they're going to go, everyone else is going to enjoy from your money, but not you. Your first wife with your body, it goes down, you can't come with you. That's it. Stays over here, gets rot in the ground. The third wife, family and friends. They love you, you spend time with them. You come and tell them, please come with me. It's up to the burial. We'll be there with you to put you in the ground, to put the tombstone, everything. We'll even take Kaddish. But more than that, we can't do. Then comes your good deeds and your neshama and your soul, the malnourished, the one you ignored your whole entire life. And says, I'll follow you anywhere you go. And follows you to the next world. Comes to the next world and says, what do you have? If you took care of that fourth wife, she'll follow you to there. And she'll testify on you that he was a good man and he gave me everything you possibly ever imagined. But if you neglect her, she won't have what to say. This is what we're learning from this story. Yosef is telling them, 7 years of abundance. Go and save. Go and save. No. We're too busy indulging. We're not thinking about tomorrow. We're not thinking about what's going to be. But this is the awakening. You have to understand that sometimes in life we have to sacrifice a little bit. No one is saying don't live this life, eat, but save a little bit. It's like ashirut. You want to be wealthy, you have to have IRA. You want IRA? You take 90% of your income, you take it and put it into your bank, but 10% you put it into an investment account. With compounding interest, when you're 60 years old, you have 5 million sitting over there. You're not compounding interest, you get on a monthly basis, it accumulates. After 50 years, you get 50 years. Why? Because you took 10%. Because you thought ahead. Somebody else says, no, I want to enjoy my money. I don't want to give any of my money away. I don't want nothing. I want everything in my pocket. So when he gets after 60 years old, nothing is waiting for him. Nothing. Everything was wasted. Nothing is there. This principle of starting to save from today till tomorrow is the most important thing we can do. From here, we can start preparing what's going to be next. Comes 120. When Hashem comes knocking and we see Hashem, like the brother saw Yosef, we're not going to be embarrassed. You know why? We're going to be like the man coming with his bags ready to go. Because we know what's waiting for us, because we prepared correctly. We know what's going to be next. I already have an island over there. I have everything. I'm not talking about me, the person. I already have an island over there. I have everything. I'm happy. I'm ready to go. And that's what Yaakov tells Yosef, by the way. He tells him like this. When he sees Yosef, what does he tell him? His first word, Yosef comes and hugs him. And he cries on his shoulder. And Yosef tells him, now I'm ready to die. Yaakov tells him, now I'm ready to die. Why? Because now I know, up until now, I didn't know what would be with me. All my sons, everyone except one, I didn't know what was up with him. Now that I see that you're alive, not only that you're alive, that you're holding spiritually, that means I know that I'm ready to go to the next world. I have no problem to know because I know everything is ready for me to go over there because I know all my kids came out good. And that's what we see when we're prepared.